going on, guys? Joel Lorenzi here with the Omaha World Herald. I'm here with the one and only Tom Chattel.
And here we are at the Elite Eight, and the Creighton Blue Jays are still playing, still winning, and tomorrow they go for the Final Four, the first Final Four in school history. It's going to be wild and crazy and a lot of fun, and Joel, I think they got a chance. What do you think?
Yeah, and you mentioned history. These two teams have quite a bit of history. I mean, you look at the two teams, they both are in their first Elite Eight appearances. Both could make their first Final Four, at least in the 64 team era. A lot of people will look back to the 40s or whatever, back when basketball was still played with a peach basket probably. That stuff doesn't count, right? And then you look at the team's individual history between each other. You look at last year's first round. Some people will point to Creighton already knocking off San Diego State last year. And obviously San Diego State returns a lot of the same team. Creighton does too. Maybe adds Nembhard, who didn't play last season in that game. And you add Baylor Shireman, a couple other pieces. And this game looks different. And the way things are trending, I'd say this game could go either way. What you think?
Yeah, it's a really tough matchup for Jays. San Diego State is so tough. They're very physical. They go deep. They're big. But on the other side, Creighton is probably a tough matchup for them as well. More of an outside shooting finesse. Rely on that. You've got Kalkbrenner, who can do a lot inside. San Diego State's. It seems to know each other so well, but San Diego State really gave Alabama problems with a lot of their big guys. Alabama had shots, they just didn't hit them, but they aren't the same kind of shooting team as Creighton. So Creighton's going to have to hit their shots. It's going to come down to that, as it should with them, because their whole that's their identity is let it fly, make a lot of shots, and. So that's what they're going to have to do, and probably do it as well or better than they have all year.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I know it's your signature that Creighton has to hit shots. But this time, I'd agree. I think the thing they've been good about in this tournament and what's worked so well, because this is a team that we may be labeled as unpredictable heading into the tournament, is that I don't think they've had a relatively bad shooting night to this point. I mean, they shot really well yesterday. And obviously March boils down to guard play and shot making. And they've come through in both those aspects. And you look at a team like San Diego State, who went to absolute war with the number 1 overall seed in Alabama yesterday, and those two teams whooped the hell out of each other for 40 minutes yesterday. I mean, every possession, Alabama had some good looks, and Alabama had some pretty tough looks, but all of them they had to work hard for. I mean, San Diego State switching defense, they're probably as good as anybody in the country and got as good of personnel as anybody in the country in terms of switching. They say 1 through 5. I'm not sure that's truly possible, but they do just about as close to it at this level, and it'll give Creighton problems. And it challenged their penetration, their dribble penetration into the paint, which is something Nembhard has kind of lived off, and Trey Alexander getting to his spots at the elbow and whatnot, he's kind of lived off. And you cut that off, or at least limit that, and it changes things. It forces you to make those shots you talk about. And Creighton, to this point in the tournament, has been good for it, and I think if they can do it again tomorrow, they'll be fine.
Well, this has been fun for me. I've been around these guys, this program, for a long time, and it's really cool to see the team you cover get to this level. The personalities of the players come out more. The coach, Mac went on and on today about the card game, the poker game with the coaches. He went into great detail about it. Just absolutely great stuff. You had a guy from Sports Illustrated interviewing Casey, the video director. The strength coach, Jeremy, was interviewed by ESPN guy. It's just fun to see everybody kind of, the whole world. Obviously Creighton plays in the Big East. They're used to this. But when you get to this level, it's a whole other thing. Every player had their own interview room downstairs, and it's fun to watch them react to it, and fun to see everybody else get to know your team.
Yeah, and obviously I don't have the same history as Tom. I'm the young bull of the two of us, and I don't have any Nebraska ties. But for my first show on the beat, it's been fun to see a team that many have pointed and praised as a possible Final Four contender to see it all come to fruition and have them knocking on the door to Houston and see that the guys inside the program that were calling it a Final Four team, that they could have been right all along, and they're 40 minutes away from maybe proving themselves right. And so, for Tom Chattel, I'm Joel Lorenzi with the Omaha World Herald, and live from KFC Yum Center. We're out. Catch y'all later.